What is going on, y'all? It's your favorite entrepreneur, Knowledge, seven-figure entrepreneur, and I've been in the notary space for almost 10 years. Today, what I really want to talk to you guys about is the day I realized that the notary business could replace my job, or just could replace my full-time living and having to run around and start different businesses. So for me, I haven't had a job since college because right when I graduated college, I made the big decision to do entrepreneurship full time, right? So what I needed to do was create a business that could sustain me. And when I first graduated, oh, excuse me, when I first graduated, one of the things that my uncle pitched to me, he's like, you may want to look into mobile notary. I feel like this could make some money. So I did that. Long story short, I'll kind of zoom through it. I went to the notary business, make money, but it wasn't enough. Started another business, another few businesses. Those became successful. End up spending that money wisely, losing it, going to rock bottom, and then having to work my way back up. The way I worked my way back up is by going back into the notary industry. When I was back in the notary industry for the second time, I then realized something. So this is what happened, and I'll catch you guys up now. So when I came back to the notary industry for the second time around, I was doing the notarizations like everybody else, right? Driving to people's location, notarizing documents, talking to customers, driving an hour to get $50 to $75, maybe $100 sometimes, until one day someone called me in Tallahassee. So if you're not familiar with Florida, basically just say I'm at the bottom of Florida, just to keep it simple. I live at the bottom of Florida, they live at the top of Florida. If you know Florida, it's a very long state, maybe one of the longest states. So I said to myself, I am actually not able to do this job, and I'm not about to drive multiple hours one way just to get a notary job completed. So at that point, what I did was reached out to one of my friends that was a notary that lived in that city, and I just talked to them. I was like, hey, can you please do me a favor, bro? Can you please do me a favor and notarize this document? And he was like, okay, sure, no problem. He was like, yeah. I was like, okay, cool. The customer's paying me $100. I'll break you out $50 if you could just go do that, and we can just split it down the middle. They were like, okay, cool. After that job, I said, hey, just give me a call back. Let me know everything went well. So after he completed the job, he called me back and said, okay, everything went well. Everything was good to go. Customer had no complaints. And I said, perfect. Then I was like, give me a moment. I called the customer, asked them how everything went. They said, perfect. When I called them back, I just let him know, thank you. I sent him his half of the money. And then I kind of just sat back in my chair. And at that point, it was just like an epiphany. I just sat back and it was just like, I was like, wait a second. I just made $50 without leaving the house, without burning any physical energy, and by working from the neck up. And when I say the neck up, I mean I made money just by using my mind and not having to leave the actual location, leave my house. And when that happened, my mind just opened up. I was like, wow. So if I can continue doing this, I can make even more money, not have to ever get a job, continue working for myself, travel and enjoy myself. Because just me doing that on a smaller scale opened my eyes to realizing like, oh, okay, this could be done on a way larger scale. And that's one of the days where I realized like, okay, this mobile notary business could replace everything that I'm doing. And then at the time, it wasn't one of those things where I was like, it wasn't one of those businesses where I thought could even make $1 million. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, when you hear the notary business, you think about 5, 10, 15, $20 stamps. You're not thinking of, this is $1 million business. I wasn't, at least. I wasn't. So that's when everything opened up for me. So one of the things that you can look at, like one of the indicators that you can kind of look at when you're making your notary agency is taking a look at your paychecks, right? So for example, for you that may be having a job, your side hustle will match your paychecks. That's one of the things that you can look at. That's one of the indicators to tell you like, you know what, you might be able to just leave your job and do this full time. So in the beginning, straight out the gate, you might not have enough money coming in to leave your job altogether. But it's going to get to a point where your side hustle checks are going to match your paychecks, and that's one of the best indicators that can notify you that maybe it's time for you to lean more into the business. One of the things that people always ask me when they come to me is like, "Hey, Knowledge, I want to do this notary stuff full time. Should I just quit and leave my job and do it?" And I'm just like, "No, absolutely not. Everybody's not built the same. Everybody doesn't have the same access to knowledge, and everybody's just not as the same amount of committed." So I'll always say, get the ball running for it first, get some money coming in, and then let's say you make $3,000 a month or $4,000 a month. I don't even know. The salary is $5,000 a month. Let's say you make $5,000 a month. So when you make $5,000 a month, when you start to see your notary business creeping to making the same amount, that's the better time to step away from the job, because now you know you can sustain yourself, especially if you see it being done over the span of like 3-4 months. You know it's consistent enough and sustainable enough for you to leave your job. And then in that case, now you can lean and put more time and more energy into the business, which allows greater scalability and upward mobility that your job probably could not have provided. So hopefully that makes sense to you. That was a little long-winded, but I had to break that down from the beginning. One thing else you're going to start to realize, you're going to have more control over your time. So when you leave that actual job, one of the first things that you're going to realize is you're going to have way more control over your time. So rather than having to manage your side hustle on the side and then manage your business, once you manage your job, once you leave the job, all those hours that you were going to be working at your job now opens up. Now you have 40 additional hours a week in which you can put into your business. And if you've gotten into your business to the point where it's even close to what you're making salary-wise, imagine now you putting 40 more hours into place. You start getting some employees, you start getting more money towards marketing, you start learning more, you start getting mentors, coaches, and consultants. You can take your business to a completely next level. And the amount of time you have, you become way more flexible. Way more flexible. That's one of the things that's super, super important to understand. One of the indicators that I started to see too is clients started coming towards me. So oftentimes when I'm talking to a lot of the coaching students, they're always like, well, I'm not gonna say a lot of them, but some of them kind of have the energy of like, I'm trying to find clients, I'm trying to have clients, I'm trying to find clients. But if you have systems set up and you have like a good client acquisition process, you're not always begging, you're not always thirsty for clients. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like having a cat. Every time you keep chasing them, they're gonna kind of run away. But if you just have something that they want, what do? They just come to you. So you gotta have, or at least display to customers that you have something that they want, or you have something that they need. You don't chase down a cat. You have some food, you show it off, you hold it into your hand, you put it down in front of you, and you just look at it, look at the cat, and then eventually it's gonna just trot its way towards you like, oh, you mind if I have some of that food? You know what I mean? You have what they want. You know, like, hey, you want to do my notary service? Hey, I have a notary business. Hey, because this, like, it's an energy thing too. It's like, oh, you really need this. I don't want to go to you that when you really need this. I want to work with people that are established and don't need me. Why human psychology works like that, I have no idea. But this is what I've experienced. This is what I've gone through, and these are the indicators that I've hit along the way. So I'm just sharing them with you. Take it or leave it. But you want those clients to start coming to you. And one of the things. One of the things you'll start to see, especially when you're working at a job, is that it has a ceiling. So even when you're in companies that have good upward mobility, you start to realize like, okay, even if I get to the highest position, I can only make around this. So for me, one of the things I want to do is probably like a chief technology officer or something around that. And I think they've only made like $200,000 to $300,000 a year, and that was like the top dog. Like that was probably the highest I can go. And then I started to realize like, okay, even best case scenario, if I get there after 10, 15, 20 years, that's the most I can make. being a business owner, the scalability of it was much larger. So I'm like, even if I spend 10, 15 years, at least I know that I can walk away from this making millions. You know what I mean? So once I saw that, once I saw the ceiling, I started to realize, okay, maybe I need to pivot into something else or focus on something else that can bring me in income and it has way more higher potential of growth. And then one thing I also told myself as an entrepreneur now, before I go into any business, I need to see the scalability in it and see that if I want to take it to a whole different level, that there was enough room in it for it to grow. And there's billions of documents being notarized each day. Once I realized that, I was like, okay, it's time to hit the ground running. There is $1 billion industry within the notary industry that people aren't paying attention to because it's not flashy. It's not Airbnb, it's not Turo, it's not Amazon, it's not drop shipping, it's not any of these stuff. So people don't pay attention to it. So that's why I started to focus on this, and that's when I started to realize, like, you know what, this could replace everything that I'm doing. Everything that I'm doing, I don't need to have all these other businesses, I don't need to have a job. I just need to focus on what's in front of me and take this to as high as I can. But, but if you're a notary out there, or if you're new to the notary business, or if you're somebody that's not even in the notary business, but you're interested in being in it, click the link in my bio. A member of my team or myself will get on a call with you, walk you through how to build out your business so that you're able to get from point A to point B. We're very patient and we would love to work with you guys. So click that link in their bio. Let's get to work. Anyways, if you like the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification. See you guys in the next video. Peace. If you found this helpful, make sure to join our free Notary Knowledge Academy. It's the #1 community for all notaries. And if you need one-on-one mentorship on how to grow your business from 3 to 8K plus in your notary business, all the links are down below. Go ahead and click that, and I'll see you guys on the inside.